And welcome back to the Silver Lantern Archives. Today we start something new with Shadows of Rebellion. We step into a very strange world that's very different than the one you know. We stand in the world where the gods once fought for control, and once they did, they made new kingdoms. The kingdom of Selvoria, Dracothar, and Aurorian, the main kingdoms that rose up behind the gods, and they worshipped the gods, their saviors, their heroes, and their leaders. Things have been relatively good in the generations since the gods took over. It has been thousands upon thousands of years, so even the elves don't remember the days before the gods anymore. But everything has its time. It seems the world disagrees with what the gods want. As once more monsters have invaded the lands, still quiet and weak for the moment, but gaining strength against an enemy that doesn't quite know what to do with them yet. Orion has been training their knights as best as they are able, but it is a steep learning curve. But we find ourselves deep within the woods of Silvoria, the home of the elves, Firbolgs, and the Tabaxi. They follow the natural law, following under their goddess and doing their best to follow her rules. Far away, deep in the woods, we're far from everything else, there's a small village hidden in the depths, the city of Val Valor. It's a city of elves that live in and upon the trees, their very buildings worked into their trunks, high off of the ground, so that they may experience the world in a very different light than some of their other brethren. Things, of course, aren't as easy as it once was in such a village that is so far away from everything is starting to struggle. And as it does, we find a new group of heroes working their way through the city. Gareth and Ulfric, you are walking the streets of this village, trying to find a new way to survive. What would you like to do?
Yeah, Ulfric, do you know any place around here to get food? Because I'm not really familiar with this place.
Can I make a history check to see if I've been here during my travels while I was the little so I would like know the basic of where the inn would be or anything like that?
Yeah.
Three, where you at right there? 10.
You've wandered through some elven cities, and it's so different from what you grew up in, and what you've dealt with ever since. You're not too sure on to where things are. There's a lot more open doors here, a lot more fruity languages. It's all very strange. So at this point, you've both just been wandering.
I would say follow our nose to whatever smells good because I'm sure we're hungry.
You know, I have another idea. Can I just are there any locals walking down the street or anything around us?
You do? Are y'all on the tree bridges or on the ground? I'm pretty sure they are on the ground. Most of the people seem to be up on the bridges itself instead of walking around the paths on the ground where y'all are.
I guess I'll just look up at the people walking. and just kind of yell to them, "Hey, anyone know where I can get some good food around here?"
The nearest bridge is about 150 feet up.
Oh, I hope they can hear us.
I'll start walking up to see if there's a connecting bridge, like to get up to some kind of people so we could talk to them.
You roll me perception.
Perception. So not too bad, but I'm rolling like shit now.
Well said. We're off to a great start.
As y'all are looking around, you'll see a ladder and go, hell yeah, that looks like a way up. Let's take that ladder.
Climb up the ladder.
So y'all are going,
Start climbing.
getting up, and there's a trap door overhead.
Use your muscles.
What? Do I open this? Do we go in? Should I knock? I just knock on the trapdoor and say hello.
Dave, is it you?
Sorry, what?
Davey! Where are you, Davey?
My name's not Davey. It's Gareth. It's nice to meet. Can we come in? I don't want to intrude on your house.
Oh, you're always allowed in, Davey.
I think we should just whispering down to Ulfric on the line. We go back down because I'm not Davey.
You're always welcome, she said, though.
She said
It
you're always
said-
welcome, Davey. Neither of us are Davey.
I don't want to move. How far down was the trip? How long did it take us to get uphill?
About 75 feet.
Yeah, I mean...
Look, it's only 10 heights of me. You can go back down pretty easily.
Alright, I'll start backing down.
Sorry to intrude, and just start climbing back down the ladder slowly.
Are you not joining me for dinner, Davey?
Oh,
I
well, now
made
that you
your
say dinner, I
friend.
start climbing back up, and then open the trap door and pop my head in and look around and be like, I'm not Davey, but if you're offering dinner...
As you pop in, you see a quaint little den in which there seems to be somebody moving around relatively close by, but you can't see them. They're probably behind the counter, and you hear the beautiful sense of freshly cooked meats.
I hear the beautiful sense of meat. That's gotta be some good meat. We're going
Smell.
in. Well, I'm going in. I crawl my way up there. I guess. How tall is this place? Am I gonna have to duck to even be in here?
No, you're fine. It's one room and it's high domed.
Okay.
You're looking about a 15-foot ceiling.
Okay, good. I'm 8 foot.
Damn you.
I'm a Goliath.
What about Ulfric? Ulfric, you going with him?
As soon as I seen him open the hatch, I probably would have stopped going down and gone up. Just to be stay in the group.
As you're looking around, you see everything seems to be done on this big open design. Most of the stuff pushed up against the wall, leaving the center of the room relatively empty, save for a couple rugs. Oh, Davy, I'm so glad you could come and join me. It's been so long since you visited.
Guess, can she see us now?
Yeah, she has to
or
be
are we,
blind.
like, around the wall?
You don't see her yet. She still seems to be behind the counter at the moment.
I'll kind of walk up to the counter and, like, peek my head around to try to see her. Be like, sorry, I'm not Davey. Neither is my friend here. We're just trying to figure out where we are. But if you're offering food, we'll take it.
Oh, Davy, you're so silly. As you see her stand up with this giant roast chicken. But
Yeah.
that's not the issue. As she sets it down, you realize there's a problem. As this old woman, probably human, is staring at you with this big kind of familial smile. The issue is you've got a serious case of naked grandma in front of you.
Okay. quickly place my hand over my eyes, kind of like looking down, be like, ma'am, sorry to intrude, but where are your clothes?
Oh, we don't deal with those here, Davy. You know that.
Uh, now that I remember, I think I need to head out for something real quick. Would you mind waiting on dinner for us?
Oh, I was just about to get the apple pies out.
Oh yeah, that'll be time to cool down. It's just as I'm as slowly as an 8 foot tall guy hunkered over, covering his eyes can, crawling like towards the door.
You going for the trap door or the door across the room?
The actual door that I'm assuming leads to the bridges.
Okay.
Might need to
Well,
open your eyes.
Well,
Davy.
I'm not actually covering my eyes. I'm like head bent down, hand held up, kind of like trying to block her out. But that's it.
Gotcha.
Well, Davy, you're always welcome back. After all, it's been 20 years since you came and visit. Ever since those strange men came and said hello. How did that go for you, by the way?
Trying to. Well, uh, uh. 'Cause funny enough, you're saying 20 years ago, and that's when I would have actually been brought like conscripted into the military because I would have been the correct age. So I'm like, oh yeah, they trained me up real good. Like, part of why I got to head out right now is because of yeah, am I? How far away is this door?
It's
I'm
not too
trying to
far
get
away.
out of this situation now. Okay. I guess at this point, hand on door, be like, oh, it's pretty good. You can talk to my friend over here though,
I
all you
already
want.
snuck out. I already
He's.
snuck out.
I'm just looking around like, God. Uh, if I'm not back before you start to get kind of peckish or hungry, go ahead and eat without me. I'll try to stop by later, okay? I open the door and step out.
It's okay. They all said you weren't gonna come back, but I always knew. It's good to see you again, Davy. I'll be waiting right here for when you come back.
Emphasis on C. Yes. Okay. And head out the door. Look around to see where the hell I am now.
I
You're
thought it was
s-
only All Place that does the 8-year-old training. I thought is all the governments like that.
Oh
throughout
no, that's
everywhere?
only Drakthar.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Drakkar.
yeah,
Technically 20 years ago I would have been 7, but it's right around the time frame that I would have been conscripted in the military.
But you
gotcha.
are currently on a platform surrounding one of the larger trees. There is a large ring. There are bridges heading up to other platforms crisscrossing this way and that.
Standing over here looking around, kind of yell out without actually yelling. Ulfric, where are you at, you son of a bitch?
Yeah, as soon as you grabbed the door and opened it, you probably would have been standing by the door.
I'll grab him by the scruff of his neck, pick him up, and start walking down one of the bridges.
I'm all ready for the free ride. Saves me some.
As you are walking, you see some people that don't quite fit in as well. You've since arriving, there's been a lot of greens and kind of basic dressed citizens. When you were on the edge of the city, you think you saw some members of the guard and the hunting parties. But since getting in, you haven't seen anybody really armed. But up ahead, you see a group of individuals that are a little more heavily armed.
Ulfric would probably be getting out of the grab and trying to be no, because I don't know who they are, so he's probably gonna be off and let the big guy in front of him.
I'd walk up to these people and just be like, "Hey, sorry to bother y'all. I don't know if you're from here or not. We're just looking for food. Can you point us in the right direction?"
Well, can I get a description for Sir Alaric? Because the group you have walked up upon is Alaric, Merrick, and Lucian.
I do not find it concerning that they were outside of the hut of the naked granny's house at all.
They weren't on the hut, they're on one of the bridges.
Yeah, we started
Oh.
walking away. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Did I hear their original shouting up at the bridges?
No, there's a lot of noises moving around, and y'all were having a conversation, or you
And
were
but
Fair.
talking at Lucian. More likely, he doesn't talk all that much. He tends to be on the quieter side.
All right. My character is Sir Alaric is 6 feet tall, broad-shouldered and heavily muscled, especially for an elf. He probably sticks out like a sore thumb in this village. He's wearing chainmail and has a long sword and shield on his belt, and he's probably wearing a tabard with the symbol of his knightly order on it. He's got a short, kind of messy blonde hair, much like the picture of him. And he looks to the monks as they approach and start asking after food. Uh, is Merrick gonna explain himself, or should I just start talking to people?
I do need another one from Merrick. Merrick, what you look like?
All right. Merrick's fairly average height and build for an elf, but what stands out most is his clothing and his regal bearing. His posture is clearly denotes pride and up his noble upbearing. And his clothes are extremely like pristine. He obviously takes great care in making sure he looks extremely well dressed and put together every morning. And on his right hand is, of course, a signet ring denoting his membership in a noble house.
Another thing that you can see about Merrick is emblazoned across the shoulder of his. Are you wearing a jacket or a cloak?
He has a cloak on.
Across the side of his cloak, you do see the mark of the tower.
everybody would know what that means because
Well,
it
yeah,
means he's
even
a
you would
mage.
know what that would be.
Yeah.
The only person who wouldn't is probably me.
Yeah.
Those mages where we come from, I would think, no?
No, Gareth and Ulfric, both of y'all would know about these because these are definitely big name things. Because while they don't deal with mages in the same way, mages there in up where you are get sent to the tower as well.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But a little bit behind Merrick, keeping an eye on where there is a tower mage, there is a warden. You see a very similar statured elf wearing the garb of what is very evidently the warden. Heavier armor, at least a little bit. Heavy gauntlets, a white cloak, and a blue jacket. You can see a single long sword tied to his waist, and he has his hand resting lightly on the hilt of his sword. He hasn't said much of anything. But you can see between the two of them, both of their eyes are this beautiful, piercing blue that almost seems to stab through you.
Ah, my soul.
As soon as I seen how official they are, I would have probably put my cloak above my head to cover my face a little bit, and you guys would have just been seeing glowing green eyes at you.
And me
The dark.
being me, having no real understanding of like social situations from having been a hermit by myself for so long, I'm just over here bumbling around like an idiot, asking you questions.
Was it Frodo who spoke with us? Because I can't
Yes.
quite recall. All right, I turn to him and say, "Well, we're travelers from out of town ourselves, and while I cannot speak for my companions, I was beginning to look around and see where I could wash the travel dust down from my throat."
Merrick
kinda
looks
guy.
the Merrick looks the newcomers up and down before smiling slightly. Yes, actually, in fact, perhaps you'd like to join us.
Oh, I mean, The more the merrier. It's just food. It can never hurt. Over here, looking down at you guys because there's no other way for me to be able to see you. Just smiling like an idiot.
I glanced back at Merrick like he was mildly insane because of the demeanor of these two, but I don't voice anything.
Merrick doesn't respond to him. He just keeps smiling slightly.
Look, anything meaty, fruity, I don't care. I'll eat it. We just need some food.
Bet you would.
And
my
of
boy.
course, we'll pair it with the finest wine. After all, what could be said of House St. Croix if we did not offer the greatest of hospitality to our guests?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be wine. I'm over here in my head like, could go for a good mead right now. That mead I was brewing back at home, that batch went bad.
I do
Get whacked
recommend the
on alcohol.
wine. This is Silvaria, after all.
Oh,
As it,
that's where we are.
my character is not, Alaric is not face palming, but he feels the urge. Has it been some time since you've last eaten? Then
Well, I mean, it's been. Oh, hey, when did we? Over my shoulder, kind of whispering from. When did we last have a good meal? I just remember the berries on the way in.
That's all I could remember too. I haven't had a good, decent meal in a long time.
It's been a while since we've had a good meal, I guess.
I see. I look at them a little more sympathetically and say, "I'm Sir Alaric of House Teorm. It will be my pleasure to dine with you tonight. Unfortunately, I don't know this city well enough to point our way towards a tavern. Perhaps we could ask one of the passers-by? Unless Merrick, Lucian, do one of you happen to know where we might take supper tonight?"
Do remember, Merrick, you, Lucian, and Alaric already have rooms at the inn.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. Never mind. In that case, I would have to rephrase what I'm saying and say, all right, well, we're staying at a fine establishment already. I don't see why we shouldn't just take our dinner there.
Oh, if you're offering for us to tag along to go there, that sounds good. I wouldn't recommend speaking to the locals so much, though. I tried that down there. No one responded, and the first person we talked to ended up being naked in their own house trying to give us a meal. Kind of awkward. They seem
should be-
pretty unique around here.
You should
Why-
be proud. You were
why
able
did you-
to take. Oh, go ahead.
Why did you enter a naked person's house?
Oh, we knocked on the door first, and they told us to come in, and then we didn't realize they were in there just butt ass naked trying to feed us, and we were like, oh, well, at least me. Friend over here, he dipped out, but I'm a little bit more respectful than that.
I thought you needed privacy. I didn't know where it was going, my guy.
Well, neither did I. Why do you think I got out of that?
A word, it sounds like you've had an adventure already.
That was the
My-
first
my
5 minutes
smile
in
is-
this town, so
My smile is growing more strained as they keep speaking.
out of
Merrick
character.
is-
I want you to realize, Gorath had.
Oh,
or
no,
Gar-
this is
you got me
great.
saying it wrong. Garth has not had good human interaction in the past like 10 years, other than Ulfric, who was around but never really spoke. So he's very socially awkward.
Oh no, this is great. I think it's hilarious. But like noble-born characters that are
Oh, and he also
probably
has no
used to.
concept of real
blank
nobility or
orders.
anything like that
Yeah.
for the same reason.
Yeah, I kind of figured it's just not even slightly what my character is used to out of other people.
Yeah, just wanted to forewarn you that this is going to be the character.
Oh no, it's great. This is funny.
Okay.
Merrick shoots a bemused smile at his brother and looks for his reaction to the situation.
You see, as always, Lucian is a stone wall. He is
So
very
let-
aware of his surroundings, but most of all, he seems most aware of you, as he is keeping close. You also know if something is to go wrong and you are to be attacked, he is going to throw down on your behalf as well. but he doesn't really talk all that much. There was about a year
Oh,
though. You thought one of the mages stole his voice. Turns out he was just being quiet.
Oh, I do realize I didn't give a proper formal greeting. Anyway, I stick my hand out for a handshake. My name's Garth.
I shake his hand with a firm grip.
I don't
Mine's a
think.
little bit firmer.
Oh, well, then I have to firm up. I'm trying to match the firmness of your grip.
Not understanding what's going on right now. I just keep tightening every time you tighten.
Yeah,
because I think
we're
that's
just
the
gonna keep going,
general.
I guess.
I'm over here.
My
thinking
character
that
thinks
this is
we're
the
in a
customs.
random pissing match with a homeless man right now. He has no idea why we're eating with you guys at all. He's just like, what the fuck is going on here?
And I kind of go over to the next person and say, "Hi, my name's Garth." Again, proceeding to shake everyone's hand, having an accidental pissing match, thinking that that's the custom of this
Yeah.
place, where you just continuously tighten.
I
Why,
guess
he's-
I'll look at Ulfric and I'll offer my hand to him. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
He won't take it, but he'll give you a head nod and say, "I'm Elfric. Nice to meet you too, bud."
Oh,
Merrick
Don't
will
mind
look
him.
at his
He's the
proffered
silent,
hand.
brooding type.
Merrick will look at his proffered hand and decide that actually he's going to bow, give a slight bow and say, "This is an auspicious meeting, I can tell."
When you bowed, you
Just-
get a little awkward. You've never had that kind of reaction before.
Just standing there with my hand out, like, what am I supposed to do now? So I grab it with my other hand and shake it, and then be like, okay, well, should we go?
I let
I'm
mine drop and I just start
hungry.
walking to the tavern, shaking my head, just giving up on the absurdity of the situation.
As y'all are turning and starting to move, Merrick, you catch something out of the corner of your eye. Your brother is widening his stance, and you can see his hand is fully on his sword now.
Who's he looking at?
No one in the
Yeah,
party.
I'll
He's looking up.
I'll see where he's looking then.
Yeah, I'd follow.
Do I
Probably
notice
grab-
any of that byplay?
Merrick has had this shadow on him his entire life. It's why he's catching it.
Gotcha.
You're a little ways ahead of Lucian, who's sticking towards the back so he can keep an eye on Merrick. That's just where he always is. But Merrick, when you look up, you see there is some kind of kerfluffle glowing on a bridge significantly higher than where you are. As it seems a swordsman is taking on 3 other swordsmen. Based on the garb of the 3 swordsmen, they seem to be members of the Silent Wardens, the Watch here in town.
Basically, secret police.
Not
Right.
even secret, they're just the police. They're just tend
Okay.
to stay out of the way. You know how elves are.
Gotcha.
I'll lean over to Ulfric. So are we getting a meal and a show?
I don't think we see this. I think this is Malk, unless he tells us.
Yes. Merrick will say, "Interesting. Perhaps we should see what's going on up in the higher paths."
You see that single knight is dressed in this kind of eclectic garb. Even at this distance, you can see he's dressed in these dark blues and is wearing piecemeal armor. He has extra swords over his shoulder, and he is actually going toe to toe with the 3 wardens that are fighting him.
I guess Merrick draws my eye to it, so I look up and see what in the world is going on. I'm like, I suppose dinner shall have to wait, and I start my way up. Do I need to roll anything, or
No, it just take a little while. But as y'all are watching, you see the single knight is disarmed, the sword spinning off the bridge and falling, but without skipping a beat. The warden looks like he's about to say something. Even at this distance, you can't hear him, but it looks like there's something along the lines, "You've been disarmed, surrender," when he gets full punched in the face and laid out on his ass. by the disarmed knight,
Got
and
it.
the fight continues.
I speed up. Then this is
By this point, can I just run up there and stand between
something
you and the
unacceptable
guard?
is going on. So I'm going to figure out what's there. Yeah, I'll move to there as quickly as I can as well.
It's going to take a little while. You'll have to go through the maze. They're significantly higher than y'all.
On the way, can I get lost in the crowd?
There's not really a crowd at the moment.
Oh, okay.
There's
Just
some
get
elves
lost.
moving around, but there's not a crowd.
Oh, okay, so no one's really out at the moment. Gotcha.
There's about 400 people in town total.
Okay.
There are a couple handful of people, maybe 15, but they're not grouped enough to be a crowd.
Gotcha.
Welcome to Thorpeville.
I guess as we're trying to make our way up to them running, can I just yell, "Hey, can you guys stop fighting for a second?"
As it is being said, y'all see yet again the single fighter gets is in the advantage, but the tables turn suddenly and he takes a really heavy blow to the chest until he just jumps backwards off the bridge.
Is he going to hit the ground?
It's about a 500-foot fall, so he might eventually.
All right. I try to position myself to actually. Will my teleport get rid of his momentum at all, or?
No.
Oh, okay. Then I can't do shit about this.
Can I reach a hand out to grab his hand? As
Oh no,
falling?
he's a ways away from y'all. Y'all are closer to one of the tree trunks trying to find a way up. He's like in the center of one of the paths.
How far away is he going to be at his closest, like in the fall trajectory?
150 feet.
Dang.
I
Big
can
man,
make
try to
it.
catch him. Try to catch him.
But as you'll see him fall, he manages to grab on to one of the rope railings, swing underneath another bridge, jump to the other side of the bridge from the underneath, grab onto that railing, climb back up, pull his sword out of the wood it got impaled on that bridge, and he calls up. You can faintly hear his voice calling up before he runs off. For those that are interested, now that you can get a better look at him, this is what this little bastard looks like.
Is that
I
you,
knew it.
Captain Jack Sparrow?
I fucking knew it. That way you called him White Hot Sailor Man in the last game.
He seems to be a little bit on the smaller side, probably standing only 5'9", but he seems to make up for it with gumption. The guard don't seem to be chasing him. They just seem kind of annoyed at him.
Would it be easier to reach that guy or the guards for us?
The guard.
All right, I guess I'll continue my way to the guard and try to ask them what in the world that was all about.
It's just Jin. He decided he wanted to get into a fight and decided to challenge us. He's getting better, but he's still bit off more than he can chew. Little prick.
An annoyance rather than a danger, then.
He's only a danger if you've done something bad, I suppose.
Does that make him a good guy?
He works with the silent wardens from time to time.
He sounds rambunctious.
That's the short of it.
Does he frequent the tavern? I feel like I should make his acquaintance.
Funnily enough, he does.
Well, after this day, I'm going to need a drink in any case. Good day to you, Sir Guard. And I start going back to the tavern, deciding that none of that was my problem.
You see the one in the back is resetting his nose.
Oh, actually, I wander up to that guy, and I'll heal him for a point with my lay on hands ability to unmess up his nose.
There's a thumbs up. The front of his face is just coated in blood.
Well, I can't do something about that, but I can help him reset his nose at least.
He gives you a thumbs up, and he still has it pinched to make sure nothing else stupid happens.
Then I go back to the tavern. Towards the tavern, rather.
What of the rest of the group?
Yeah, I'll follow him back to the tavern, hoping to meet this guy at some point.
Kind of just following them because don't know exactly where we are. That's what the plan was beforehand.
It takes y'all a little while, but after some time, you do make y'all's way back to the Sylvan Hearth. You see Baron is just behind the bar. He's having a good time passing out drinks. It's a little later in the day, so there's people moving about. There's probably about 15 people here in the bar.
His name is Baron?
Baron, yes.
Baron, I need something tall and strong tonight, I think.
Make it
He's
two.
not talking about me.
Well, we always have some sylvan mead waiting. You brought friends, it seems. Will
Yes, I
they
hear the
be
word.
joining you?
Yes.
Good, good, good. Do they have stories?
Do you, gentlemen?
When you get me good and slosh, maybe.
Well, then, unfortunately, you will need to be paying. It's either paying or all the stories.
The best story I can give you is probably, have you ever witnessed enlightenment?
Well, it depends on whose ass is getting lit up.
Persuasion. I would assume.
Persuasion?
Or history, maybe. One of I mean, that's up to Cece, but those are the two that come to my mind.
What are you rolling?
My character is probably down for some casual self-aggrandizement, but let's see, would it be persuasion? Or maybe performance to tell a story, or
Yeah, it's not a
how
roll.
does this work?
It's just you tell a story.
It's not a roll.
You
The
spend some
role
time
is
telling a story.
DM's discretion.
Yeah. So you're gonna be able to tell a story.
I think I'd rather advance the plot than tell stories from my character's backstory, actually. So
Fair.
I'll just
as I
buy
was
drinks
saying,
tonight.
Barkeep,
Yeah. Go ahead.
do you know of
Oh.
enlightenment? And I don't mean the religious type.
Depends whose ass you be burning.
So, how do you go about getting your mead?
We
Do
make
you
it.
make it yourself or do you buy it? You make
We
it.
Make it here.
Great. And can I tell him tales of how I make my mead out of the berries in the woods?
Oh yeah, he'll listen.
So I'm over here telling him that tale because I'm proficient with like brewers kits and supplies. So I've been making my own mead and alcohol while I've been out there. And I just tell him the ways that I've been doing it and the unique flavors that it creates. And say, and that is true enlightenment, my friend.
He's been doing some listening. While that's going on, what's the rest of the party up to?
I am drinking. I've decided that there was just entirely too much nonsense that went on in the last hour for my character not to have a drink.
Fair.
My character Merrick orders a couple bottles of the finest to share with his friends, and then passes the tab on to his brother.
He doesn't take it. It's up to you to pay.
Knowing the fact that I have no
Does he
money,
just,
I'm
like-
hoping the story gets me a free drink.
Does he just like
I got you,
stare
big
at
man.
me coldly when I try to get him to pay or something?
yeah.
or-
I look at Lucian like, do you need a drink too, my friend?
He always needs a drink.
I completely ignore Merrick, and I'm looking at Lucian still
He shakes
because
his
he has been dragged into this nonsense by Merrick.
Lucian doesn't actually drink, at least not when he's on duty, and when his brother's around, he's always on duty. So he just doesn't drink.
Oh, fine.
If you all giving it to I'm the friend, I would at least pay for one of the bottles or half of the. Which is it?
The fine wine is. Are you going for fine wine or fine elven wine?
Let's go with fine elven wine.
10 gold a bottle.
I'll pay
Dang.
for one bottle.
Whatever.
For
I'll
one
buy
bottle.
both bottles. It's fine.
You sure? I'll
Okay.
I'll pay for the one bottle for you.
It is all part of noblesse oblige, my friend.
Right. And I go get the big man and say, "You don't need to suck up for your free drink. We got some over here."
Oh no, I'm fine over here. I'm good. We're just talking. As I continue talking about brewing methods and how I distill my meat and stuff like that.
Doesn't
Probably
take.
would have
Oh, go ahead.
got next. I was gonna say I probably would have chose the table next to the window since I'm gonna be smoking my pipe.
Fair.
AKA meaning I'm smoking in real life.
Fair.
Oh yeah, how much does the Sylvan Mead set me back?
It is 3 silver.
Jeez, I have to remember the conversion rates now. I didn't think this far.
10.
Oh, 10. Oh, 10 all the way down. All right.
10 to silver to gold, copper to silver is 10, gold to platinum is 10. The only one that isn't is electrum, and we don't use electrum.
All right.
Actually, now I think about it, I'm not as poor as I thought.
All right, there we go. Oh yeah, do I see that troublemaking snot around here?
No, not yet. You do see there are a couple interesting individuals within the tavern. One of them looks like a human woman, dressed in a heavier scale armor. You see a shield strapped over her shoulder. You see what might be a mage. She has a staff. She might just be a traveler for all you know. Might be a herbalist or an Irophis. She seems to be sitting off in the corner along with another individual who is currently working on their arm. As you see, their right arm is metal and full of cogwheels. She seems to be doing something to her palm with a screwdriver. And then the last individual is sitting at the bar itself, another traveling merchant, or maybe a scholar based on this one, wearing long robes and has seems to be a little bit older male.
Let's see. I would probably approach the one I would find the most pleasant company. Do any of them look bored or irritated or anything like that?
Not particularly. The woman sitting off in the corner with the staff leaning against the wall next to her seems to be going over scrolls. The man at the bar seems to be drinking on his own. The woman with the metal hand is tinkering with her metal hand. And the knight doesn't seem to be doing much either. They each seem to be in their own little world for the moment.
The closest to my own social status. And I would inquire after her. I would introduce myself as Sir Alaric and ask if she is, what she's doing around in the village and if I could maybe buy her a drink.
Which one are you going to?
The knight.
The knight. You introduce yourself. She looks up, looks you up and down. You see she has a very thick build. She's probably a decent amount stronger than most of the women you've met in your life, as even the padding does little to hide her strength. But she looks you up. Stormguard. Gwyneth Stormguard. I've ended up wandering here looking for answers.
And what questions, Miss Gwyneth?
What stupid thing my friend's going to get into next?
Yes, I get the feeling we're in a similar boat. Care to commiserate over a drink?
If you're buying.
Why not? I'll buy her whatever in the world she wants. Hopefully she's not going to be like, yes, I want the fine elven wine too.
Nah, she's just drinking mead. She's keeping it simple.
These people and their snot drinks.
Heal, heal. You hear Elfric finally speak up when he hears you say that?
Hear you say snot
I'll
drinks from across the hall and just yell, "All drinks are good if you like them."
I didn't actually say that out loud.
You didn't say it was out of character, so you did.
Oh my god, fine.
Merrick just says, no counting for taste, I suppose.
There's a shrug. There's also a crash from outside as y'all are drinking. Right as she goes to say something, and you just see the dejection and the sigh.
Would your friend happen to be a somewhat slight elf with a bunch of swords on his back?
Would you believe yes?
Yeah, this is going exactly how I thought it was going to be, and I just go back to drinking.
It's not long after you see the door open and the same twink-ass elf walks in. A big grin on his face. How's the...
You were the guy that was fighting all the guards.
I was, and I won.
Well, I mean, winning's debatable. You broke one of their noses and ran away. That's small victories.
Ah, but that is a victory in itself. I escaped.
Yeah, you can
I
see
like
it
how
that
you
way.
think.
Why in the world did you pick a fight with the guards?
They look bored.
I think most elves just have that face out of personal experience.
It's because they've lived too long, as says the elf.
I was about to say, isn't this coming from an elf?
You need to keep
We are the
shaking
least
things
elvish
up.
elves. We are the least elvish elves in the world.
Plus, with everything going on around here, well, they need to be on their toes. If they're not, something bad might happen, and somebody might fall off a bridge.
I mean, last time I saw someone fall off a bridge, they grabbed it and swung back on, so I don't see any problems.
That did seem to turn out quite well for you, at least.
That's because I know how to fall off bridges.
Not a good thing,
Yeah.
though.
Well, I mean, that's a skill that is pretty good. The reason why you have that skill, not so much.
That's because I kept falling off bridges when I was younger. I thought I could best gravity.
I
Well-
whisper to Gwyneth, and I'm like, "Is that why he's like that? Did he fall on his head?"
No,
Mama dropped him too many
I'm
times.
joking mostly.
he's just like that.
Well, my good man, we were about to sit down and eat and drink. Would you like to join our table? I'm sure you have many tales to tell.
Tales aren't all that interesting. It's the new fights that are interesting. You ready to put up?
You know what? Yeah, let's have ourselves a little duel, my friend.
You see Baron point outside and Jin just takes off.
Of course, I'm not going to ruin your fine establishment. I do go outside, just like simmering in mild annoyance with the day.
You see he
Dinner and a
yanks
show.
one of his deal with that later. He moves across to one of the bridges, and you immediately see why he's done it. It's a much wider area. There's no chance of either of y'all hitting y'all's blades on the side of the tree, and it's safe over there. Plenty of room to move around.
All right, I'll draw my long sword and heft my shield up as I start my way towards him.
You see he pulls one of his blades off his back, flips it in his hand, and gets ready for you to come at him.
Are you ready, good sir?
Is anyone ever ready? He then proceeds to attempt to kick your knee out.
Is he
Need an
making an
athletics.
attacker? Athletics?
Or acrobatics. You
21.
manage to hold through. He does kick your knee, and it is a hard kick for his small size, but you do not go down.
I guess I'll try to bash him in the face with the pommel of my sword.
Gotcha. Roll me another athletics.
He gets a 1.
On point. You're ready, and when you're moving up, you see he's not there. And you're turning just in enough time for him to full punch you in the stomach. You feel the wind knocked out of you. And you stumble back. He's got this wild grin on his face.
I stomp one of my feet to regain myself and just start wading back in with sword and shield.
He is speed to your turtle. He also seems very adept at getting around your shield, almost as if it's not there. You think he's very familiar with fighting a shielded enemy.
I wonder why that is. I think back to the woman with the shield.
Her shield's actually significantly larger than yours. She's using a tower shield.
Oh, I wanted to get one of those, but it says a free shield, but I thought 1,500 gold for that would be a little much.
Yup. You have the normal shield. There's 3 shields: the buckler, the normal, and the tower. Hers
Yes.
looks heavy, too.
I've got 18 strength. I could probably use one. All right. I'll do we keep rolling athletics?
Unless
Or
you
are
want to
we
make an
just-
attack. He's just going after you. He is a sprightly little bastard.
Is he using his weapon yet?
Oh, he smacks you with it from time to time, but he's not taking full attacks on you.
Okay. I'll just keep rolling athletics then. I'm assuming that's kind of the unspoken rules of our little fight.
What you trying to do to him?
I want to kick him in the gut.
You manage to get him. The problem is he grabs your foot.
I try to launch myself on top of him and turn this into a wrestling match.
You do manage to get the size
Sure.
on him. I need 3 athletics checks.
I have no idea how grappling works in this game, by the way.
Athletics versus acrobatics. You
Oh, that one
definitely
was
get a
good.
hold of him on the first run.
Am I rolling twice with advantage or something? What am I doing
Yeah.
here?
You're
might actually
rolling
have
with advantage.
advantage
Let me
checked on
see
the
your
top.
sheet. Do.
I think he's whispering it too because I don't see any
Yeah,
of his rolls on
going
mine.
to fix it. Toggle. There you go.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So you get a 16, a 26, a 16, and then I need
I need
the
one more.
last one.
Nice.
21. You're doing decent. Let's see how he does in comparison. As he loses on the first one with a 22. He wins on the third one with second one with an 18, and then wins on the third one with a 26.
Damn. We're both getting decent rolls, I guess.
You get the advantage early on, but he manages to slip out, get out from under you, and flip your ass.
I try to kick out his ankle from the ground.
You go to kick on it, and you realize he's not on the ground anymore.
No, I mean, I'm still on the ground because he threw me, right? So
Yeah.
I'm trying to kick his ankle from the ground. Or did he jump off the bridge again?
Oh no, you go to kick it, and you realize he's not standing where you thought he was, and you look up, and he elbow drops the fuck out of you.
People's elbow.
I try to roll back on top of him. I try to just like grab him in a bear hug and roll him up back on top and get him in a mount then.
Fair. What's everybody else doing while this is going on?
I'm trying to buy 2 mugs of the finest mead for the barkeep, one for myself and one for the winner.
Sylvan Mead is 3 little pieces each.
That puts me down.
I'm sipping a glass of wine and watching the show.
I gotta pull up a calculator for this.
Don't care who
I
wins,
only
but
have gold.
I don't care who wins, but I'm calling out like who to help both of them out once in a while while I smoke.
But what about the other members? What are y'all doing? Is this...
Just like rolling on the ground, kicking at each other and shit.
He gets a 20.
Damn.
As he ends up jumping up onto your shoulders, wrapping his leg and get you in a full Nelson.
I'm going to try to do a weird reverse power bomb. Like jump on him with all the weight of my armor and everything.
There is an oomph. And then you have the issue of the pair of you end up rolling off the side of the bridge.
Oh, well,
Hey,
this
he's
will
got
be interesting
advantage
one way or
there.
another.
Yeah, I'll cast Featherfall on them actually.
Fair? As
Just
they
let
go-
them drop for a
Well,
little bit before you
I
do
was
it.
going to teleport back onto a bridge, but this works. I'll just keep trying to punch his lights out in midair.
You see, he manages to grab the edge, grabbing the rope again, and does grab your gauntlet. You
No,
would have
I'm
missed it.
gonna keep. Oh, I missed him.
No, you missed grabbing it if you were trying to grab that. So he has your gauntlet and has stopped you from falling.
Oh no, I'm trying to hit him still.
Oh yeah,
I'm
you're
still
still
like,
free to
this
do that.
isn't done. I'll just like punch him in the kidney while after he grabs me. I'm just like, I ain't afraid.
While you're laying and he starts to swing and launches your ass back up.
Well, I guess I'll stand back up and wait for him to get back up then.
He gets back up after a little while. You do hear from inside, "Oh, that's quite enough. Come get drinks."
But we're both still conscious, sir.
Yeah, and the wardens are gonna come find you. You keep it going.
I
I'll
grunt and sheathe my weapons, I guess.
So, who won the fight then?
I'll slip you another 3 gold silver so you could buy another mead for both of them.
No, that's not the way this works. The winner of the fight gets the drink. That's the catch.
Well, he did roll significantly better than me, but I can probably take hits better than him, too, so... Actually, I'm not sure how well he could hurt me with my, in my heavy armor with my feet for it, unless he has unarmed fighting master or whatever it is.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, I'm probably completely unharmed then. He would have had a hard time getting through my damage reduction.
All I know is I saw you two rolling around on the ground.
We
like
both
a
come
couple
in and we're like
slippery pigs.
dusty. Yes.
You guys just look like a bunch of oiled up pigs rolling around in the mud out there. That's all I know. So I don't know who won the fight because I've never judged a pig rolling competition. But
The Paladin of Conquest versus the Paladin of Conquest.
We're both paladins of conquest.
Nice matchup.
Seems about right.
give him the way things are going. I'm gonna give it to this man. Looks like uh, Jin. I'm talking about him. He looks like he could be a white hot sailor, man. I'm gonna say he wins the drink. Walk over to him and give him the mug.
He
Here you go,
takes it
pal.
and he drinks with you. He's extremely excited people are here to fight. He is glad of what's going on. You see the woman tinkering with her arm in the background gets a little annoyed at the commotion, but she's still sticking to her work back there.
Nope, she's a nerd. I also don't want to interrupt her.
Look, you can't say that about people. That's rude.
Nerd. Nerds work on their own prosthetics.
I walk back to
That's
the,
what they taught me in Paladin
the
school.
woman. Walk back to the woman working on her prosthetics. You're not a nerd, and whatever you're doing is I don't understand any of it, but it's pretty cool. And I just walk off.
She looks at you as if about to say something, and you walk off, and she's like, "The fuck is with these people?"
You know, it's rude to interrupt someone when they're working. That's why I never spoke with her.
The one
Well,
thing
it's also rude to go into a tavern and randomly start fighting someone.
No, I went
But-
outside. You're right. It would have been rude to fight in here. That's why I went outside.
the one thing that does stand out, it was Ulfric that walked over there, was it Gareth?
Gareth, Ulfric's still
Gareth.
smoking.
What did I do?
Gareth, when you walk over there, there is something interesting you notice about her. Hanging off the back of her chair, there is a belt with a large quiver. I say it's large because it doesn't have arrows in it. It doesn't have bolts in it. Well, it doesn't have crossbow bolts anyway. Her quiver is full of ballista bolts.
Huh. I'm still walking away from her, just thinking about this now, going like mumbling to myself. Those are some big arrows.
Interesting thing that you
That's,
noticed.
that is all.
I guess I'll brush myself off and go back to the table with Gwyneth and Jin. I assume he's coming to the same table since that's his friend.
No, no,
Her
he's off
friend.
drinking.
His friend. Oh, okay.
She's shaking her head at him. He seems to just be a little tired.
Slippery devil, but his punches aren't very hard.
Yeah, he's more about knocking people over. Jin, what did you do with your shield? It's around somewhere. You need to keep that on you, you idiot.
Might have dropped it off when he was fighting the guards. He lost at least one sword that way, though I believe he went back for it.
He didn't
got
actually
it
have his
back.
shield when you saw him.
Yeah, I'm making an assumption. Means I didn't see the start of the fight.
She rolls her eyes. He always loses things one way or another. Always seems to be able to find it, though.
I walk over to Jen, place an arm around his shoulder, and be like, "So you said you're used to falling off bridges. Can you teach me how to do that someday? That was really cool."
Yeah, just make sure you have somebody that can catch you.
Well, I look at my size and weight and go, "I don't think anyone could safely probably catch me. But I could try to swing around the bridge. Probably at a lower height than what you did.
We could always try.
Want to go do that now? Or should we? No, we came here for food. We should probably hold off onto that till later. Hey guys, what are y'all gonna get to eat?
I'm always waiting for the feast to start.
The feast?
Yeah. Do you not know
Frick.
about the feast?
Oh, I think we came here at a good time. Ulfric? Looking around trying to spot him, and I can't see him anywhere.
I'll call from the phone saying, we got a drink, a fight, show, and now we get a feast. Sounds like a good place to be.
Yeah! And I sit down next to Jen and continue chugging down my drink.
Not long after, Baron brings out plate after plate after plate after plate after plate of food. Everybody's starting to move around, getting plates of food, getting drinks, all kinds of stuff. Everybody seems to be on the move and is going to eat.
Ulfric is
Hey.
only 5'7", but you see him doing his Goku thing with the biggest plate he could find.
Hey, Bear, not to be rude, I know that we're already, as I'm scorping down mouthfuls of food as I'm saying this. I know I'm already eating this, but how much does this cost?
Ah, you don't need to worry about it. It's a feast.
Oh, thanks, friend. As I grab another plate and start scarfing it down.
Just go to waste otherwise.
Why would it go to waste?
Ain't not enough people to eat it.
So you don't cook
Something
it.
been happening to the people around here?
From time to time. But the food gets helped out by a magic oven that we ended up finding. Wonderful thing. Produces all kinds of foods.
Where in the world did you find something like that?
In the woods.
Huh. Was it in
Well, I came
ruins, or was
across
it
that.
just sitting there by itself in a clearing?
Nah, it fell out of a tree.
Huh.
Tried to figure out if it grew on the tree, but we don't think so.
Wait a
All
second.
right, fair enough. I focus in on protein.
Having lived in the woods for a hot minute now, I have never once heard of a magic oven falling out of a tree because it just grew there.
Well, it didn't seem to grow out of the tree. We didn't find any others.
Probably
Oh,
some wizardry experiment gone wrong with teleportation.
Oh, so far it seems like wizardry experiment gone right. Too much food and not enough people is better than too much people and not enough food.
Oh no, I meant the oven's location, not the oven itself. I mean,
yeah,
the oven
yeah.
itself is clearly an example of magic not being used improperly.
There's a nod from Lucian in the back. Artifice is usually seen as more of an okay kind of thing compared to pure magic, but it still needs to be watched over.
My character is just like oven that produces food. This is just like a net positive. No one's really going to be bothered by this. He thinks it's fine.
But the food is wonderful and fills your bellies and doesn't seem to end. You are able to eat and eat and eat and eat.
Sounds like heaven.
Hey, do you have any to-go boxes for this? Because we could probably use some of this on the road later on.
Unfortunately, it won't last. Only lasts a couple hours.
So you're telling me the food in my stomach's only going to be there for a few hours?
Ah, no, it's already digesting and keeps you full. It'll keep you full for a while.
So I need to store the food in my stomach. Gotcha. Continues eating more food.
You sure can pack it away, little man.
I look down at you.
Yeah, that's gone.
No, I'm taller than you. You have to look up.
I'm 8 feet tall.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were Ulfric,
No.
who was the short one. My bad. My bad.
The big guy caught the big
Yeah,
guy
never mind.
shoveling in food.
Yeah, never mind. I don't say that then. Clearly, he's the big one, not the little one.
But I could shovel away food. I can.
Okay, then I say that to you. I'm just like, yeah. You'll grow up big and strong one day, I'm sure.
Grow up. I just caught on what you were saying.
You see, while all of this is going on, the two of the travelers dressed in simple robes have seemed to start talking to each other. Off along the side, they seem to be going over notes of some kind, while the woman with the metal hand seems to be eating about as much as the Goliath. Jin
Probably using a
and
ballista. That
Gwyneth
probably builds up an appetite. Oh, I'm sorry.
both also put up a good amount. They don't seem to eat as much as the Goliath, but they still eat a good bit.
I lean over and whisper, "She probably has a second stomach in her arm. That's where she's storing all of it." Not knowing anything about magic or tech or anything like that.
My character actually just has decided he's had a few drinks at this point, so he probably thinks that's funny and just chuckles to himself about backwater robes, though he doesn't say anything.
Merrick, you can also see that Lucian is keeping an eye on the two robed travelers as well as you.
He suspected as much, which is why he's not engaging with them. He doesn't want to draw scrutiny towards them. It would be most uncourteous.
Actually, can I make a perception check to see what they're talking about? Because they are being a little suspicious, these robed people.
Sure. Are you trying to overhear them?
Yeah,
From a
basically.
distance? Okay.
Probably not going to go too far out of my way, but I'll be like, huh? What's that?
Nice.
As you're listening in, the man or the woman seems to be talking about strange findings in the area, an outlying amount of magical artifacts, and things should be looked into.
Magical artifacts are dropping out of the sky, so yeah.
Oh, sorry, they're falling out of trees.
That's fair. Honestly, if my character was kind of trying to angle towards where in the world did you find this, because he wanted to go looking and see what the hell's going on.
You going to ask the dude, Baron?
Yeah, I'll ask Baron.
Just fell out of the trees one day, about 300 years ago.
I don't suppose you would remember where, would you?
Well, I did, and then the trees moved, and it's hard to find now.
Ah, fair enough.
Are
Have
these
there been a
trees
lot of
moving?
findings like that around here?
A few, honestly. You'll see them from time to time. Usually we get them checked out by the wardens when they come through.
Does it tend to happen in the same area, or is it seem
No.
random?
Seems random everywhere. Sometimes you'll find an unfillable cup. Sometimes you'll find an arm that keeps moving. Sometimes you'll find my wonderful, wonderful oven.
It is a
of
very
weird
nice
stuff.
oven.
I agree. Keeps everybody fed. Especially the travelers. Can do unique foods as well. Especially those with other diets.
Perhaps we could search the woods and try our luck tomorrow. What do you say, my good men? He says, addressing the group.
Oh, you want us to come along with you? Yeah, sure.
It's interesting enough that I wouldn't mind looking around.
I mean,
It'd
what
be-
part of the woods are we aiming for? Because I could probably show you around a bit. I lived in there for a while.
Be careful out there. There's been a lot of weird shit moving around of late. A lot of oddities.
I tap the hilt of my sword. Have there been monsters spotted around here?
A few. They're starting to show up of late.
Well, I don't think they're going to pose too much of an issue for us.
No, the wardens have been keeping them back for the most part, hunting them, sending out parties. But if you go and wondering about that, it's not as safe as it used to be.
Is there a reward for if we do handle?
Not at the moment, no, but you can keep whatever you find.
Think we could keep whatever.
I'll
we
glance
find,
at
so that's
Lucian, and I'll ask him, "What do you think? Seems like there are magical anomalies in the area."
Worth looking into.
Yeah, I suspected so.
Well, if you want to find anything about it, I'd advise go and talk to the elders. Should be meeting tomorrow morning. They'd be
Would
up
you
at the
mind,
Elder Hollow.
The Elder Hollow?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and ask him for directions. I don't think this entire town has been mapped out, right?
Correct.
So I'll just figure I know the way there now.
Go ahead and look for the biggest tree at the very center of the city. It's hollow. You'll
I'll
probably
certainly
wanna
check
talk-
in with them tomorrow.
You'll probably want to talk with Elder Valoris.
Elder Valores. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for your assistance, sir.
But shouldn't be meeting up till tomorrow.
Then there's tonight for a feast, isn't there?
There's always a night for a feast. So eat and be merry. What would the party like to do?
Seeing how we're probably going to talk to the elders tomorrow and not today, I'll ask how much is a room.
Either a
Or
story or 5 silver pieces a night.
Have you ever heard of the story of the bloodsuckle of? Hold on, let me get the of Dr. Thaw?
I have not. Why don't you tell me?
Well, I was out on a job one day. Came across this person that was telling me stories of this village and that they thought was a a crazed man that would come and kill people. Well, it turned out that ended up being a vampire. I'm making this vampire part up, by the way, CC. It was just a guy just killing people, a mad, crazy guy, but I'm trying to embellish it and make it into he was a vampire that was feasting on the blood.
Fair. Is that all to the story?
After I did find him, he was said something about a cult of vampires were around and that he was trying to build it back up, and he needed all the people he was killing for his little crew. I ended up slaughtering him and had to bury his body in 3 different parts to make sure he didn't come back to life.
They do that.
Yeah, he kept telling me how no matter what I do would kill him, so I cut him in half and figured that would be good enough.
Yeah.
We have to tell a story for our room?
I
Yes,
was hoping
indeed.
that I could get. Yeah.
I've got a great story for you. Have you heard the story of the Goliath and his small little friend?
I have not.
I go over and I pick Ulfric up and hold him under my arm. I'm like, it's still a work in progress, but we'll have a story for you eventually.
I'm gonna cup check him as he picks me up.
Good luck.
Roll me an unarmed attack or a strength check if you don't have one.
I'm not a monk yet, so yeah, I'll be strength, right? Just a straight strength.
Yep.
13.
That hit your AC?
This is nope.
He manages to block you.
As I said, it's a work in progress. We'll get there eventually. It'd be a great tale to tell your are you married?
Nah.
Yeah.
My wife got
Are
eaten
you
by
planning on
a-
getting married?
My wife got eaten by one of the trees a couple hundred years ago.
My condolences. My condolences.
And as
Wait,
he's hanging,
trees eat people?
Yeah.
well, he also said trees move, Olio guys, and no one said anything. So I was gonna
Well,
ask
look,
that.
I figured
I'm
that
not
was a
gonna
poetic
question
way
it.
of saying that they like new ones grew over the course of several centuries. What's this
Gonna
about
lean
trees
over and
eating people?
whisper to you. I wouldn't question it too much. Apparently, magic ovens grow on trees and fall around here. Them moving and eating people doesn't seem like a shock.
I mean, even from
Yeah,
the ones
no,
we
this
came
is a
from.
problem. What's this about trees eating people? Tell me about the trees.
Well, they're one of Nerissa's old groves, the Deepwood. The trees
This is a
themselves
contract.
seem to move and watch. We think they're the watchers. First god, you could say. They're always moving this way or that, especially the younger ones. Never staying put, always dealing with one thing or another. Those that live here in the city, once we pass away, we put out our bodies and we tie them to the trees. Let us give back to what protects us. Send them to Nerissa herself.
I don't say anything, but I am further convinced that Luxurian is clearly the superior deity.
Fair. You not have that out there where you come from?
No.
It's a pity. To be able to see the goddess's work firsthand, it's quite something.
I stare at him in holy night that casts divine spells. I just hit him with that stare. Yeah, it really must be something to see behold the works of a god regularly.
There's a difference in dealing with Lord Luxurian. He's always been one and with his head in the clouds, dealing with the greater evils. Lady Nerissa, though, she's always down to earth. Something that we see day to day. It's a very different experience than what you Pally boys deal with.
Yes, I can see that. I've never had Lord Luxurian eat any of my kin.
It's a pity. To be one with the goddess is an amazing thing. I'm sad you do not have the closeness that we find with the Verdant Mother. But Radiant Sovereign is blinding, though I am not shocked.
Hey,
The
CJ?
Radiant Sovereign is illuminating.
He is.
There's a very large difference. My character Will is, I mean, he's a religious fanatic at this point, right? He's not going to be like, yeah, no, your god's better than mine.
Well, I mean, they're all the same pantheon. There is no Luxurian without Nerissa and the others.
So
They're not
anyways,
different pantheons. Effectively, Nerissa and Luxurian are the top two. Luxurian is the leader, but Nerissa is the one of life. Without her, nobody lives.
Would we know anything about Nerissa besides her name?
Oh,
And
yeah,
seeing how
you'll
our
know.
god would be the Iron Warden.
Oh yeah, they're all
Oh,
the
yeah.
same pantheon. Y'all know about all of them.
Oh,
It's
okay,
just
so we
y'all
know.
deify. Effectively, think of it like the Greek pantheon, where Zeus is your head boy, but you have like Hades, Poseidon, all of them. They are still part of the main council of gods. Same thing here.
Gotcha.
Do
Okay.
they still have like the kind of inter-pantheon arguments? Because I remember that one story about, who was it? Poseidon and Athena having an argument over who was going to be the patron of a city.
Of Athens. Not as
Athens,
much.
yes.
They don't tend to get involved too terribly much. They each have their regions after once they settled and made the regions, each settled in different areas and built up around that. At
I'm
least for the
sorry,
main
Alright.
one that are on the move.
just find it funny hearing they don't get involved too much, and then you look at Darkoth or however you pronounce its backstory, and they got significantly involved there.
Oh well, that was during the days when they were still really involved. They've kind of stepped back in
Yeah.
the years since. You don't see the gods themselves too terribly much, but you will always feel their influences in different ways. Luxurian is the head of it and is most seen in his churches and in his knights. Nerissa is seen throughout all of the forests. The soldiers always follow Kaldor, who are generally known to be, if a true war came down between Luxurian people and Kaldors, while a single knight's probably stronger, the unity of the Iron Warden's men would do decimation to the knights just because of their sheer numbers and strength.
We'd put flight to them, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, they'd give a good fight. They've actually fought in the past, but They don't knock each other out.
I can take them.
Well-meaning rivals. Then you have Valeth in the deep oceans. Morgoth is hidden somewhere in the world. Nobody has a clue where Zelraya is. Elendor's another one that just stays away from everything.
But not to intrude on your guys' conversation about the gods, but does a story in the making count as a good enough story to get a room for the night, or am I gonna have to pay?
Unfortunately not. Need the full story.
Ah, well,
Would
I'll
it
get
be
free
okay?
room one of these days.
Would it be okay if I got a free room and maybe get a half off for my story? Or just half off?
Well, if you share a room, then you'll be fine.
I kind of look at him. I don't think a room's big enough for the two of us.
Yeah,
Grant.
you'd be surprised.
How much is it for a room?
5 silver.
5 silver? I got. How about this? I just have a big old smile on my face. I have 4 silver. The rest of it's in platinum and gold right now. Will 4 silver work? Because I really don't want to break another coin.
Fortunately, it won't, my friend.
I
Keep your
try.
keep your
I
full
pat the
silver.
barkeep on the shoulder and say, "Here you go," and
Oh.
I give him a platinum so that way I can get the silver.
Gold to silver.
Oh, gold to silver. Sorry,
I was gonna say you give him a platinum, my guy.
I said a platinum. No, my bad. My
Right.
numbers were all off. I wrote down
Um,
the list on the thing.
Alric is going to turn in for the night, and he is going to wish a good night to Gwyneth, Jin, Lucian, Merrick, Gareth, and Ulfric before he goes. He wants to wake up early so he can go to that council meeting.
Fair enough. Merrick, you know Lucian is already taking care of the room, and you will be rooming with him.
I'll nod to Alaric and address the party, saying, "I believe I'll turn in as well. I'll see you all in the morning."
As Merrick
Guess I just-
heads up, Lucian gives a nod to the group as well, before following him up without another word.
So they're sleeping together, right? Like, are they just sharing a room, or is it like together?
Well, I'm assuming they look alike a little bit. There has to be a semblance, right?
Oh, if that's the case, we don't want to go down that road. I
Yeah.
just go back up to my room, start heading up towards my room. Is the
But,
bed big enough to hold me?
Is what?
Is the bed gonna be big enough to hold me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your feet stick over a little bit, but that's it.
Oh, actually, do I fit properly?
Oh,
Big for an elf, but I'm not that huge by human standards, so.
no, you're fine.
Okay, good.
As long as you guys are under 8 foot, you're fine. You'll fit.
Before I go to bed, I'll be the last one to go up like a true Nord. When I do go pass out, I'll probably open my window to my room if I have one and try to listen out for a howl or anything since it's getting late and he hasn't checked in with me.
There are no glass.
Oh,
Open
there's no
window.
glass.
You can open the
Well.
curtains and go, oh.
Yeah, I'll just open the curtain in and see if I could hear a howl or anything letting me know that my boy's okay out there.
You do very distantly.
Alright. And then I'll start doing my nightly walkout and then go to bed.
It is a.
Before he,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, before he goes to sleep, Merrick will spend a few hours sketching with his charcoal pencil.
Nice thing about Merrick and Lucian, they don't even need beds. They can just sit in a chair. Prancing elves, man.
Be me one of these days.
But the night goes by slowly. You'll all eventually find y'all's way to sleep or into a trance, but it's not restful. The night passes, but you find yourselves waking in cold sweats. No memory of the dream, but knowing something dangerous was in it. Something was watching. Something was hunting. A dark power that you didn't
Well-
really understand and can no longer remember.
I snap out of my trance, and I'm full of piss and vinegar about it. Dark power's gonna threaten me, huh? Probably one of those damn monsters in the woods. I stomp my way down the stairs.
You find some people have already gotten up. Baron is already down getting ready for breakfast, making sure everyone is well fed before they leave his establishment.
You see Ulfric probably coming down like his normal self. I don't think he's been sleeping too good after he saw the slaughter of his clan, so nightmares are
Oh,
normal.
this is even worse. This is close.
Okay. Little
But you
held
just
back.
can't remind. You don't remember what happened. But it's one of those bad ones.
Gotcha.
Merrick's pretty used to nightmares as well ever since he started manifesting his powers.
A lot
Gareth
of
is
you
probably just walking down, yawning, thinking, if I can't remember, it's probably not important.
But as you come down, everybody's relatively quiet here. People keeping close to themselves, not like the night before, where there was playfulness. It's all very quiet.
I glance around. So, I'm assuming we all had similar dreams, didn't we?
I don't know.
I was gonna say the same. If you, I can't remember. Remind me what we dreamed about.
Some dark force is picking a fight with me, and I'm going to crush it under my heel.
Sounds
You
like a
tried
good
talking things out.
Should have thought about that before it got in a pissing match with me.
time. Ulfric's gonna turn to his big buddy and be like, "For a big guy, you sure are pacifist. I know you don't like fighting, but come on, sometimes you gotta help the greater good."
Well, I mean, you can help the greater good by talking. You know, that's what politicians do. Wait a
Do
second.
you have animal talking? What if it's a beast doing it? Are you gonna talk to the beast?
All you have to do is pet it on the snout real good. Sometimes a little bit harder and more
I-
forceful than you want.
In my head, I think of Finn just eating you while you try to do that.
And the
I
one I'm
grip my
describing is just punching an animal really hard in the nose.
I heard another
I
voice.
turn towards Baron, and I ask him if I have enough time to eat breakfast before the Council of Elders meet.
Well, they're already meeting, but they'll be meeting for the next several hours. Yes.
Thank you. I sit down and shovel whatever he puts in front of me down my gob.
Eggs, hash browns, meats, fruits, veggies. A whole nother feast. Lots of food.
I eat at least 12 eggs because I am now Gaston.
We gotta get a disposable oven like this, guys. Out of character, that's Cody talking to you guys.
I get the feeling it might be a little hard to carry around.
We got a Goliath. He could carry it.
Yeah, good point. We'll just strap it to his back. It'll be fine.
Out of character, you guys are about to turn me into a fucking warforge.
Sorry, go
No,
ahead.
you'll be like a meal forge.
Alright.
We have an artificer over here tinkering with their arm, and you want to implant this oven into my chest?
Well, I was thinking more of like a back mount, but I mean, if that's how you want it.
Okay, sorry, CC.
The only two you see down here from the day before is you see the woman that was messing with her arm drinking what looks like some kind of warm drink, as well as one of the robed figures.
Was it one of the ones I overheard talk about magic in the area?
Yeah, one of those two. It was the guy.
Okay, I'll approach him. And I'll say, I couldn't help but overhearing you last night. I'm Sir Alaric, Teorm, I was hoping you could spare a few moments to speak about the magic you've heard of in the area.
Name's Valus. Can't say I've heard too much. But Kalen seems to think things are afoot. With all the bad dreams people have been having of late, well, something to look into. Even a medicine man like myself doesn't quite know all the things we need to know to heal things of this nature. I got called out hoping I'd be able to help, but I do not know the source.
Probably some horrible monster, with the way things have been going lately.
Oh, Galen doesn't seem to believe it. More likely an artifact is at work. Or perhaps a mage.
Ah, mages.
Yeah, I was just about to ask if I could make an animal handling check to see if what he's describing, the way they were killed when they first talked about it. If I could think of what animal could have done that, but you just said it could have been mage or artifact, so never mind.
You were talking about, Aelin, was it? Was that the woman you were speaking with last night?
Yes, Galen Starbinder.
Aelin
Mage.
Starbinder. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to go off and meet with the village elders. But will you two be spending the night here again, or are you moving out today?
We'll be here for the moment until we find more information. It's dangerous for people like us to be moving alone. We don't have a warden with us, so we need to remain within the cities.
And
Your
the thing-
mage?
I can use a type of magic. I'm not a tower mage, but she is.
What would be society's reaction to this sort of thing?
If he was a heretic, that'd be a big problem. Considering he has said he is a medicine man, more likely what he is one of the divine healers.
Well, divine magic's okay then.
Yeah,
It says right here in my book.
Yeah, he's more likely a divine caster than a.
Can you tell us whether? Oh, never mind. I'm not in that conversation.
I mean, you're standing in the same room. It's not very quiet.
Yeah, I'm not. My character's not quiet.
All right, so I would have leaned my head over and said, "Do you know what the last sighting was when this at?" So maybe we could go look for any clues.
That would require survivors, or at least maybe a corpse.
Nothing. Okay, so it's
Only the
maybe
trees eat people here of all things.
Don't believe they're involved in this.
Perhaps you're right. I'm going to go to the Council of Elders and see if I can find out anything from them. This is clearly an issue for the area, at least, and I'd like to get to the bottom of it.
For the last 2 months, as I understand it, people have been having nightmares. They've been getting worse of late, but nobody's quite sure as what's going on. I believe those 2 knights were looking into it.
I drum my fingers on the hilt of my sword, and I say, thank you for your time, good sir. I'm going to get along to that meeting now and see if I can learn anything. I'll start on my way over to the elders meeting at the Grand Stump or whatever it was they said it was.
Elder's Hollow.
Elder's Hollow, there we go.
Grand Stump.
Yeah, the Grand Stump. I stand by it.
Somebody cut down the holy tree. Oh no!
has the Malk. I can't get you guys. Malk and his brother came down already.
Merrick.
I didn't hear that.
Merrick.
I think they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
If he's leaving, then I'll bump the big guy and say, I guess we're gonna go with them since they asked us to help them out.
Are you eating breakfast or just abandoned?
I ate my breakfast as rapidly as possible, and then I had that conversation, and now I'm going. And if the other people are going too, that's great. If not, my character is Mike. Look, he's young and impetuous.
I'll take the
Awesome.
plate with me almost out the door and then put it next to a table when I get to the door.
It sounds
Merrick-
like he's going to a meeting of elders. Maybe we probably shouldn't go with him? That's not something that we need to deal with.
I mean, if they have information on if we're hunting what's going on and they have information, don't you think we should know about it?
But why are we hunting what's going on? No
Oh,
one's
looking.
asked us to do that.
Because there's free magical items afoot. Does that
Over
not
here
interest
looking
you?
down at myself wrapped in cloth with cloth around my fists. Magic items?
You can sell them for food.
Well, now that you say that,
I love how
Comes
my
in bags
character
of-
already has this figured out.
there's
And-
two out of characters. Two things that'll motivate this guy: a good meal. Well, that's about it. There's one thing that'll motivate this guy.
Merrick will just have a light breakfast and a mug of mead. Because he's on vacation, he claims.
So who's all heading to speak with the others?
I will.
I'm already like out the door, basically.
You know, Arth, that is your name, correct? I'm horrible with names. Talking to the barkeep. Before we
Back.
head out, Bert, sorry. Before we go and tag along with this group of, I don't know what I'm going to call them, daring individuals who seem like they are up for the greater good of things, would you happen to know where we could stop to pick up food for not just here, because as you said, this stuff only lasts a few hours until you eat it. Somewhere we could pick up something to go.
Well, if you're looking for more general goods, food and travel rations, and the like, you might want to go talk to the hunt master.
Sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah, where would he be? He or she? You know, yeah, we're all.
Where would it be? Where would be the hunting lounge?
You know, you can't say that.
It's a place. A hunting
Oh,
lounge.
you're right. You're right. Where would the hunting lounge be?
On the outskirts of the city, to the south.
To the south. Gotcha. Thank you so much.
You'll be looking for Salithra.
Lethra, okay. Well, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day. I peek out the door as I see that he's like already halfway down one of the bridges, leaving us be. It looks like we gotta go. You have a wonderful day. Thanks for the food. Thanks for the meal. Maybe we could talk about brewing again sometime. You have a great one. I just dart out the door.
Always busy, always busy. So is
Idle
anybody
hands
else
and all
remaining
that.
behind? Yes, no, maybe so. Or is everybody going?
I already said I was eating my plate on the way out, so yeah, I'm going.
Alright. It takes a little while before the four of you make your way to the great tree at the center of the city, but you see this thing is big, far bigger than any of the other trees. It's taller, and its roots seem to twine through everything underneath, actually making several of the bridges around it as they reach out for other trees.
Oh, so it's moving literally in all eyesight. That's cool.
Not moving, it just has roots wrapped around.
Oh, roots. Okay, I thought you said the roots were moving. My bad. Sorry.
Truly a grand stump.
Such a grand stump, it's not even a stump, it's a tree.
I'm gonna have to hack off the top bit of it so it just becomes a stump. Can't have it be calling me a liar now, can I?
take you a lifetime
Well-
to cut down that tree.
Merrick
One
just
swing on it,
do
do
it every
future,
time he
it'll
calls
become
it a stump.
It'll become a stump eventually. You just have to wait. So you're not a liar. You're just wrong as of right now.
I don't.
I
get
like
how
to
they
call
put-
it a preemptive naming.
I don't understand how these trees are eating people, but they have the house built into the trees. That's what's blowing my mind right now.
Well, it's not these trees here.
Probably
These trees seem to be like ones that people live in, hence the houses.
domesticated trees.
Oh, they eat the clothes since we've seen that old lady naked.
I think that was a one-off thing. It doesn't seem like that was a very normal occurrence around here since we've been walking around, but speaking of, we need to head back there because I need to. I told her to hold off on eating until I come back unless she gets hungry. She might actually follow me up on those words.
Does the people seem that we're passing the? I know it's early morning, probably not, but does the people seem put offish, or are they open to strangers?
They seem to be avoiding you.
Must be my big man smell.
Yeah, you have that big man smell of the little man's body. Out of character, I say this as your character is taller than me IRL.
But you
I
see
go.
high
Go
up
ahead.
into the tree, there is a building worked into the tree trunk itself. Not like everything else, which is built around. This is inside the tree, carved from it. A great building.
Elves in no trees, I swear.
I don't know what you're on about. We lived out of a tree for the past few years.
Not a whole life though, or not my whole life, I should say. I don't know about you, my guy.
Just most of it.
Why in the world did you decide to live in a tree?
It was nice. It was peaceful.
He seems to be complaining about living in trees.
Well, he's new.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
He's not accustomed to the lifestyle yet.
He'll get there, I'm sure.
I'm
Yeah,
used to
one of these
hunting in
days.
trees, not living in them.
He'll find a nice stump to call home.
A grand stump, perhaps.
Have you seen him? He doesn't need a grand one. He just needs a stump.
Or no, if he's going to be sharing it with someone who's 8 feet tall, I think the both of you could use a
Yeah,
grand
I would-
stump together.
Nah, he could
Maybe.
stay out of it, get his own grand stump.
Oh,
Anyways,
see, he's kicking you out of the grand stump already.
You've got a meeting with some elders. We're just here to tag along. We should probably get there before they get pissed off. Because talking about elders sounds like a thing they get pissed off about.
Well, though we don't have a specific meeting point, and in fact we may be interrupting their meeting, though I hope to show them the courtesy they deserve.
Oh, courtesy. I'm great at that.
I've noticed.
So courteous, you could talk your clothes off.
You already got old Granny out.
Look, she was naked before I got there. Thank you very much.
How do you
don't
know?
about
Maybe
that.
she only undressed after you answered her calling for Davy. You don't know.
Well, that would be a problem because she said Davy left 20 years ago when he was like 7 or 8.
But what if
Well,
Davy
yeah,
was an
so
elf that
she-
was 50?
I mean,
Fair,
like,
fair.
20
Good
isn't
point.
that long. 20 years isn't that long.
Start counting on my fingers
And your toes.
and toes.
It's all your toes, save for that weird one on the right.
How
We
long
don't
do
talk
elves
about
live
my
again? Like
toes.
300-400 years, something like that?
When he
About
counts his
1,000.
toes, he got 21 instead of 20.
On average, they'll live about 1,000 years.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so 20 years isn't that long. I mean, you can get lost in a walk for that long.
I start counting on my fingers and toes again. That's a long time.
Nah.
But y'all are able
But anyways,
to get into the Elder's Hollow, and you are told to sit and wait for a little while, and that they will inform the elders that you are there to speak with them. You are led into a little inlet with these beautiful booths in which you can sit. They're nice and comfy with cushions.
that's a nice rock. I like that rock.
I have to say, though I'm more used to the mountains of my home, the forest is actually quite nice. And the trees aren't trying to eat at you, of course.
The mountains are a pleasant place to live.
I
And I'll
miss
pro-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I just put my back up against something solid and wait for the elders.
How well does he fit in the booths? Gareth, I mean.
Surprisingly well.
I'm just slightly hunched over. It's not because there's not enough space, but it's because I want to be more appropriately heighted for all of you to talk to.
You can like sit on the ground in front of the table then, I guess. That would about do it.
Sit cross-legged on the floor, still a foot taller.
It takes about half an hour before eventually you see a very tall elven woman come through, standing probably about 7'5".
Damn, I didn't know they got that tall.
You see her hair is braided behind her. It is very long and silver and has strands of moss woven into the braid. You can see her eyes, which are watching the group as she approaches, have a look of intelligence and are this brilliant gold color that almost seems to glow. Her dress is relatively simple, more long robe than proper dress, made of this deep blue and emerald and embroidered with leaves and the constellations.
When
Yeah.
she approaches, I will rise and give her a shallow bow. And introduce myself as Sir Alaric Tiorme. Might I have the honor of knowing your name, ma'am?
I am Elder Selwyn Valoris. It is a pleasure to have you here within the hollow, Sir Alaric, Gareth, Merrick, Ulfric, and Lucian.
I'll stand up and walk over and stick my hand out to shake hers and be like, well, I guess we don't need an introduction since you already know our names, but it's nice to meet you.
The captain of the wardens told me you would be coming.
That's not concerning at all.
Is the captain the one that broke his nose?
No. The captain likes to keep appraised when outsiders are moving within the city. So, tell me, what can I do for you?
It is to my understanding that there has been a disquiet over the town. Bad dreams, magical artifacts appearing at random places. I was hoping to ask what you knew about this so that we could look into it and perhaps assist you with this.
Unfortunately, very little. We think the artifacts are simply the forest letting us know something is amiss. But it is not our business to know exactly what our hunters have not been able to find anything relevant to the dreams, but many see them simply as what they are, dreams. What worries me most is not those, but those that have gone into the forests and not returned. It is strange.
How long have these occurrences been happening? I forgot if you already told us.
The last 2 months, people have gone into the wood and found it not the same, as if the forest itself is becoming something else.
Well, that kind of makes sense. It's part of why we came into town. Harder to find food and animals. Forest was changing.
Indeed, perhaps the verdant mother has sought to curse us, but I find this unlikely. It is more likely that someone is up to something.
Puts my
Well-
hands up in the air. It's not me.
Did the people who went missing all travel in a single direction, or has it been people who have been isolated? Can you tell me anything about those who've gone missing?
It is unknown as to what they were doing. They disappear within the night, and by the time those that would watch them or know them have time to check on them, they are long since gone, and the tracks are lost. None of our wardens have been able to find them.
And they haven't been going missing in a specific location or alone or anything? Is there any common thread between the disappearances?
They tend to disappear at night when no one is watching. They think their families believe them to go to bed, and by morning they do not reappear. Most think they simply went for a walk, but as days become months, well, that is unlikely.
Is anybody else going to ask questions, or is it just me?
I mean,
That's
I
out
don't
of
know
character,
what to
by the way.
ask. Out of character. Trying to play in character. He wouldn't want to really ask me anything.
Fair enough. I'll glance at Merrick, our resident mage, and I'll be like, "Does this seem like anything that you might have learned about in the towers?"
No, nothing comes to mind.
You actually hear from Lucian for once. It would take a very powerful mage to put sleeping or trance magic over the elves. They tend to be resistant to it.
Perhaps it's something else. We know little about what's going on. Perhaps that other tower mage might be able to enlighten us. We know that she's been looking into this for, what was it they said, months now?
They said the events had begun 2 months ago.
Okay. Maybe
That's when the
you'll
disappearance
have
happened.
figured a few things out.
And this came without warning, huh? Just one night, people started disappearing without any weirdness beforehand.
The dreams began beforehand.
And can anybody remember the dreams, or is it always like how we woke up this morning, always forgotten?
You have experienced the dreams as well?
I don't know if it's my own nightmares that I'm used to, but I woke up feeling like I didn't have a good dream. I can't recall it though.
It is not often that outsiders take to the dreams so quickly. For others, it has taken time before they begin to see, what we know, but do not know.
Have any of your people remembered the dreams?
Not as far as I am aware. If anyone has remembered, they have not reported it to the wardens.
People seem like you trust each other. If they did remember, I assume that they would at least talk to you. Or is there infighting that we don't see going on?
Most likely they would have informed either the wardens or one of the elders. We have heard from neither.
Have you had anyone specific look into this, or perhaps requested one of the outsiders in town to?
The wardens have been on the watch, but unable to find anything. I believe Miss Starbinder has been trying to investigate as well, but without one of the tower wardens here, she has been limited in what she can do. As well, the Storm Guard has gotten involved, and they have set out this morning to see if they can find anything abroad.
That's Storm God, Cece? Is that what you said?
Storm Guard.
Oh, okay.
The knights. She probably took Jen with her. I'll look back at Lucian and say, perhaps if we work together, we could keep track of two mages.
There's a nod.
Well, we'll have to visit with Miss Starbinder then. Thank you for your time, Elder. I'll give her another shallow bow.
If you wish to learn more about what the dreams seem to mean, or at least what is causing them, I can only add one other that may be of assistance. We have a seer here in town by the name of Vela Moondrift. You can find her on the outskirts of the village. She may be able to tell you things that I cannot. She is
Is
more
this
attuned.
The
to
Star
the
Watch
wood.
lady she was talking about?
No, different one.
No? Okay.
What was her name again?
This one is Vela Moondrift.
All right. Trying to keep some notes because I am personally horrible with names and my character isn't particularly bad.
Fair.
All right. Thank you. I'll have to check in with Vela then, see if that we can gain any more information. Moondrift.
If you
Thank you.
seek Miss Starbinder, she should be at the tavern, I believe. She has been staying there since the loss of her warden.
CC would seal
Has
magic.
has her warden gone missing as the others have, or has he suffered some mishap?
It is uncertain. It is believed he went into the forest to investigate something and did not return. Why he left his charge is also unknown, but as to my knowledge, you are not often leaving your charges behind. There is a nod from Lucian to confirm this.
Yes, very strange behavior. Again, I thank you for your time, and I give her that shallow bow. We'll look into this, or at the very least, I will.
There is a nod.
And I'll start marching off towards Vela Moondrift, I guess. Or would the tavern be closer?
Tavern's closer as it's in town. The Moondrift woman is on the outskirts.
Okay. I'll start heading back to the tavern and look for Kalen Starbinder.
What about the rest
And
of the
that's
party?
the seal.
Yeah, I'll head off to the tavern and to look for Kalen as well.
Does anyone else have questions for her as you're heading out?
I can't think of anything else.
Then,
It doesn't seem like she has a lot of information for us right now.
Then, as y'all are heading out, ready to start y'all's path onto whatever strangeness seems to be affecting the city, that for today is where we're going to be leaving it, giving us time to really get into the investigation next time. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and for those listening in, I thank you as well, and hope you catch up with us next time. Y'all have a wonderful night. Peace.